It's like a recipe for food, for cooking a cake. You know, it's a protocol. You have to follow those rules to make the cake look good, right? Taste good. Yeah. So same for this, but this is for information.
It says actually it's an application protocol. So it works on an application level. That means that works that you have enough control of the protocol, because it works on top of the stack. There are different protocols in the web, and HTTP is on top of IP, which is on top of TCP, and blah blah blah.
So I talked to you about it.
Yeah. So of this stack, the HTTP is really the one closest to your application. In fact, you write application that use HTTP. So it's an application protocol. A distributed is because you can run on different machines at the same time. Collaborative is because many people can take action on the same thing, so that many nodes can participate to do something together. Hypermedia is because you can send different things through HTTP. In fact, we can send text files and video images and so on and so forth. And now the second line says HTTP is the foundation of data communication for the World Wide Web. In fact, our browsers they are basically HTTP readers, right? They have the entire stack to actually understand HTTP data, understand HTTP protocol, explode that protocol, explode those packets that are coming, and and read the content, which could be a page, which could be HTML page, JavaScript, CSS, and then there are different engines to render images, CSS, and JavaScript, and so on and so forth. Is that all right? And then in the end, like say something interesting, like hypertext is a structured text that uses logical links between nodes containing text. What is talking about? Hypertext is structured text that uses logical links. What is that structured logical links?
I think they have categorized all the data and then linked.
Yeah.
How to access them.
Yeah. Those are those links, those URI. Those are the links that it's talking about. Because that specific URL or unique identifier is addressing one specific data. Okay, cool. So obviously you can build a Node.js, an HTTP server in Node. That's totally fine. Because Node.js itself has a core module for HTTP and HTTPS as well, and it's that one. But and this is how you write like a super simple one. You already went through this. So we tried to through OnWorks and the last time to build an HTTP server with just Node. And if you think about build a secure, compliant, full-feature web server, it's really not easy. It's actually very hard, right? It's okay for really simple examples to just use Node, but it's really not okay if someone asks you to write, we need to make an HTTP server, like 99% of developers will use a framework. They won't start from scratch. They won't just use Node. And that's where Express comes in. Express is a HTTP server which underneath use the HTTP node modules. Just think about like an extension and a set of patterns around the HTTP core module.
Express.
Express.
What is Express?
Yeah, Express is an HTTP. Is a library. It's a framework for make a HTTP server. So last time you wrote an HTTP server yourself. you didn't install anything, right? You just type create server and put the pod and do all the different routes with the if and so on and so forth, right? You remember that? Oh, did you do that, right? Yeah, okay. Yes, yes. So that would be the way of doing just with Node, just using the HTTP core module of Node. You follow me, guys? Okay. So the other way, like another way of doing it, is to use a library. And Express.js is a library. It's a software that developed by other people, non-Node people, other people, and use the core modules of Node.
So you can use Express.js in ordinary JavaScript and all.
Yeah. Express.js is a
It's not just a Node module.
Yeah, it's a Node module. It is a Node
made for Node, right?
Yeah, it's only made for Node. Yeah.
It's only a Node module.
It's a Node module. Yeah.
Just to make things easier.
Yeah. The raw HTTP, it's really complicated for you to build a server that's compliant, like he said, right? But with Express, they take all the complicated stuff and heat it and just give you the easy tools that you can build a server, right? That's the overall idea.
Yeah. And like in the real world scenario, you have this tendency to use what is already out there, because like Express has been it's been around for a long time and many people have been working on it, and it's like a super well developed, right? It's pretty hard to match if you start from scratch to match that quality, because it's like 1,000 and 1,000 hours of developing time and review and quality control, and that obviously would be hard for you. I think that probably there are like 100,000 hours of work. You would be, if you put 100,000 of hours of work, you would be done in years from now. So that's why in the real world, the people, they tend to use libraries, and you will see this across everything, front end, back end, and also different languages. It's really few scenarios you need to do it absolutely raw. There are very, very few scenarios. Okay.
So like all libraries in different languages, they build upon what is, what you have as features of the core language. So they're like any library which is meant for Node.js, any Node module is still written using core Node modules. What they do for you is just to make the syntax for doing the most common things a bit easier. So you would see in the case of like just like a handling request, they would make it easier to handle the same thing across different requests, for example. Or like just to start a server might be a little bit easier in Express than compared to the Node module, but it doesn't mean that it's doing something which is like impossible with Node. It's just making it usually easier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and obviously the overall idea is to you write less code and still have high quality, right?
That's why we have NPM, right?
Yeah.
Package manager.
Okay.
Libraries built by others.
Yeah, and this is a little bit what I said. But a good point is that this is a line. By writing a 10 HTTP server on your own, you learn a lot, and that's really true, because like sometimes libraries, they will try to hide you some complex and interesting stuff from you, but which is good, because you don't want to deal with that every day. Otherwise, your brain will explode. But it's still important to understand how it works. It's really important to understand how it works. It's not like a framework should not hide you. It should hide you the complexity and the hassle to deal with that every day, but it should not stop you to understand how it works. If you know what I mean. You don't want to like redo the same things every day and break your head every day, but you want to understand how it works. So the exercise that you did with the writing the HTTP server on your own is like perfectly good, and it's really good for you. And if you can extend and keep going, it's an excellent excellent learning tool. Okay, so as far as I understand, you didn't write a REST API server last time. You wrote just a generic HTTP server. So we are gonna write a REST API HTTP server this time, which is like a specific style of.
It's a convention.
It's a convention. It's an architectural style to write basically the URL, the URL and the verbs. So just you use them to make sense.
You guys have used REST APIs in JavaScript 3? Or
Did you fetch stuff from the
Ajax.
Yeah, probably with Ajax you fetch some URL that was returning some JSON.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a REST API. So this definition is like super straightforward, but I can boil it down to something very very simple. REST API. Yep.
Can we name these methods anything we want, or are these just the default methods available?
Okay, no. So REST API is a style, and basically what they say in their cookbook that you need to use the URL and the verbs in a certain way that we're gonna see, so it makes sense for the consumer consuming the API, because you are building an API. We're building now an HTTP server, right? We're building a set of API. Someone else will consume those APIs, right? Someone else will, with your React application or with just JavaScript or whatever, will use those APIs. Now, if you write in a RESTful way, your API will be much easier for the people on the other side consuming your API. Does that make sense? That's pretty much the why they are doing this, and they are doing by using the, for example, the HTTP verbs in a very meaningful way. And if like can help you, usually I do this analogy. You remember when you do a class, let's take the contact list example just to be more pragmatic. You add, remove, get. Yeah, you remember you have all this those principles that we start to we should do all the different operation, CRUD operation, create, remove, right? Edit, delete. Yeah, this is kind of the same concept, I would say. It's like the same goal. They want to achieve the same goal, but they want to do through URLs and HTTP verbs and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? In fact, that's why I asked you before. Well, if you have a contact list, it would be very nice and I can show you how you can actually map those things together, and it will make sense. So this is an example. So you have a car, and the car in my case the car is the resource. We call resource in a REST API terms. That's a resource. And I would say that there is like super tiny mistakes. Sometimes people use plural for resources. So they say they don't use. I use singular, but like if you want to be 105% accurate, it should be a plural. But car is our resource. So if you get car, so this is your browser, right? When you type www.google.whatever/car, then we will get all the cars. So that's important. When you do get car with the ID could be, in my case, it's just a number, but the ID could be anything. Could be
model in that case, right?
Could be
Unique ID.
this is a unique ID. Yeah, as far as it's unique, you can. I'm just using number in this case. So this will retrieve one car, the car with the ID 122. Yeah. So if I want to edit an existing resource, I will use patch, and this, and when I do patch, I can send a JSON blob. So JSON blob, like a JSON object, that will it will patch on top of the object of car. So for example, here I'm changing the gears from probably, I don't know, 4 to 5. If I want to create a new resource, I will use post car. So you see, it's the same URL, car and car, but the verb is different. So when I do get car, I retrieve a resource. When I do post car, I create a resource. You see the difference, right? It's the same URL, but it's a different verb.
They were using for the forms before. For forms.
Yes. So when you do forms, you send data, right?
Yeah.
You don't get data. You send the data. The data down the forms, they are wrapped in a JSON blob, for example, JSON object, and they are shipped to the browser. And then you create a new customer, patient, car, or whatever.
So forms which you have inside an HTML page, they're still interacting with the server through HTTP. So exactly the same verbs are therefore applicable for the forms.
Yeah.
As are applicable for REST API or for viewing the pages themselves.
Yeah. So post car is for create a new resources. Remember this table. This will come useful for you later. And then if you want to delete a resource, we can use the delete method, the delete HTTP verb. And then you need to specify an ID. So this is like a kind of a minimal set for build a REST API. If you build it this way and you tell me that I know a REST API, you say, oh, I build a REST API about car, and this is my URL, I will be able to use it without reading the documentation. Because I know if you apply the same rules, I will be able to understand how you did it. Because we will talk the same language.
What's
Patch, yeah.
So the same as
No, patch is like if patch is for edit an existing resource. So if you have already a car and you want to, let's say, change the number of gears, you can give a subset of the model, and that model will, like, patch will write on top of what is existing. So let's say you want to rename a customer, right? You will just send name, and then all the rest of the keys, all the rest of the objects, if you're talking in JavaScript terms, it will stay the same, but the name will change.
There's also a verb called put.
Yeah.
The same patch.
The difference is that in put you have to give all the keys that you want to, not just the ones which you want to edit, but you need to give the whole object. So it's put is an object replacement, and patch is like more
Just only
patching.
editing. Yeah.
particular.
Yeah.
So in I would say, like, in most applications, put is what is still quite standard today. But patch is really, I think it was an addition to the SVP spec, so it came much later.
When
it's
did it come?
definitely, I think it's still quite old, but it's still, because of put being there everywhere, people are still not using it so much. And there's also this, you have the guarantee when you give the whole object that, something else which might have changed would also get overwritten, which depending on the use case might be good or bad.
Yeah, I should have put as well this in this list, but this will be enough for you to. I mean, this is perfectly fine, and this will be enough for you to. You don't need to implement the put thing. So I think you already done this. You already installed the Express server. So I think we should start coding now. Yes, I think it's a coding o'clock. So start a new project. Use CS6, please.
So start with the Node Babel template. from
Yeah.
Markov.
Okay, so I can show a couple of things. Like watch out this because this is interesting.
We're gonna use the Node Babel or the newer one.
The new thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'll show you this. Oops.
Can everybody see?
Better? Yeah. Okay, so if you so I developed a tiny command line interface tool to help you to scaffold a project in Node. Is anybody listening or?
Yeah.
Okay. I think this will save you like a good half an hour of your life every time you start with the Node. So this is a tiny tool that, like with 3 questions, will scaffold pretty much everything you need to start something with Node. I'll first use it, so I'll show you how it works, and then you can install later when you start coding. So I don't want that you code now. I wanted you.
Don't do npm init yet.
Yeah. So the
New
way
folder.
the way I do this, I create. You know how to create a folder, right?
Yeah.
So let's say arq future express server. So I create this folder. Then I change directory in that folder, and this folder is empty. You see, if I do ls, it's empty. Now I can do npm init. And npm init will create a package.json file. You remember we did this, right? Yeah, perfect.
Anyone has doubts in this thing?
Speak now or forever be quiet.
npm init. Have you guys used it enough times? Do you know what it does?
Yeah. So npm init is a command of npm that allow you to, with some question, to create a package.json file. Okay, and I'm doing that. I'm doing everything slow for you, like express server for arq future. Okay, entry point, that's fine. Test command, we don't have it. Git repository would be nice, but we don't have it at the moment. Keywords, let's say express server teaching. Okay. Author, we can write my name, and usually I write my name, my full name with my email, like that. License, that's fine. Then he asks you if this is okay, and then you say yes. So now if I do ls again, you see there is a package.json file, and that contains, with cat you can actually see what a file contains. You can see that's exactly what I wrote before. You see my name with my email and so on and so forth. And you can edit this file later. So when you have a package.json file, you can use this tool that you can install later, call it Node Scaffolder. And this has, you just enter this. That's enough. When you enter this, now you can check which language you want. In our case, we want JavaScript, and then we want to have a bubble, and then if we have a linter, then we can say no.
Can you explain them what is a linter?
A linter is a tool that allows you to write, to have like some checks, some static checks on the code that you write. For example,
Like most of you are using VS Code, for example, right? Or Sublime, and you see that there's some colorization in the editor there. And there's like sometimes it shows an X, that something might have happened. That part is called linting, which is like formatting code and also checking if there's something against the environment that you're programming in that it wouldn't work. Like syntax errors is mostly what it highlights, but also when you do like import or require something, you can say okay, this file is probably not there, so you'll get an error when you run.
And a linter is common when you work with other people, so you can have the same rules. Let's say, for example, when you tab, that was like a common one. When you tab, it's like a space or 2 spaces or a tab space or whatever. Okay, so after you run the Node scaffold and you answer 3 questions only, you get this. You get a source folder, and if I cat the package.json file, you see that something changed here. dev dependency, scripts. You see? This wasn't like this. This was not there, and this was not there. So that no scaffolder actually manipulate that package.json file for me. If you scroll up, it will actually tell you done. You are all set. Try to run npm install. Now if I do npm install, I can install the packages that he added for me automatically. If I do npm start, it works. So if I now open my editor here, and I do this, I have a source folder, and I have a dist folder, and I have a bubble already set up, and I have also a README file with a explanation and so on and so forth. So this will like scaffold some of the minimum setup that you need to do. Otherwise, you need to copy and paste the Babel RC and all that crap, right? Okay, so I switched to the terminal inside here just to be everything. So
small question, just to see like how much you guys understand NPM. So Marco used the package Node Starter. No, what's the package called? Node Scaffolder.
yeah.
How can you use Node Scaffolder?
So I use this one. You see this one? This one.
Yeah. What would you need to do in order to use this?
First we have to initialize.
Install globally.
Yeah, you need to install globally. Yeah.
After that we can do.
And how do you install globally? Yeah. npm I or install. And then the name of the module. This is -g flag. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to use this, you can, and you can install, and you're good to go. And I think this will save you a bunch of minutes to set this up because it's annoying. If you don't want to, you are very welcome to start for free. And if you don't like Babel, you want to use a Rollup or Webpack or whatever, you can also select. From. Okay. What is important for me that we have a place where we can write code in ES6 and we transpile it. And how you transpile it is up to you. I don't know what is your favorite thing. I give you like 5-10 minutes to set this up. And then we carry on by installing Express and a few other things. So the goal is to set up an environment where you can write ES6. And probably you already did this last time, so it should be, at this point should be fine, should be easy. I need some water.
Is it not scaffold or not scaffolding or scaffolder?
Is this
Yeah, scaffolder.
Scaffolder.
First, yeah, we check. We have the packages now.
We are getting this command.
Then we install the node module called node scaffolders and the
Yeah, install it, yeah. That's what I said just before. You don't have it, so you need to install it with npm I, the name of the package, minus G.
So something like this. Again, install node scaffolder. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
I use this shortly.
I see that some people. So did you know npm, right? At this point, yes, that's good. So when you want to install a package, you need to do npm install node scaffolder, and then you do -g. You need to do -g for make it global, so you can call from everywhere. And this tool makes sense to have it global, because then you can create, like, you can scaffold folders from wherever you are, right? When you don't do -g, it will install in your, just like in that particular folder, working directory. Does it make sense, guys?
I'm just having problems.
Yeah, it should be.
Wait,
Press make command ls and see what will happen.
Oh, you don't remember the password?
I'm checking with Christopher.
We have packages on there.
No worries. Okay, so
This is
So delete first the packages. rn. Yeah.
You just
space,
install this
and
and
the name
then
of the package is on. Just write package. First package.
Here.
There you go. Enter. Okay. So enter the folder that we created now.
The package is just that.
Yeah, you install this because this will help to set up.
Yes. Then ls again.
This is a tool.
Okay, then create now put the npm in it. That's y is not.
You see what I've done?
That's y. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's just like a short version. So since you actually
Okay.
want to install the version, it just creates that command for you. If you're
Guys,
lazy, you just do that.
guys, one second. I will redo again what I've done with no scaffolder once again, so you can see why we need this tool. Okay, I'll start from scratch. Okay, so we'll remove everything. Okay.
Yeah, so here's
Okay, so you see this folder is empty, right? You agree with me? Folder is empty. ls is empty. So if I do npm init here, and then I say yes, yeah, keyword whatever, and then I put my name. Okay. Okay, this is okay. So when I'm done with npm init will create a package.json file, you see, with the name, Accu Future Express server, and my name with my email. Okay. You see, there is only one script called test, and there is no dependency. There is nothing. Now, if I use node scaffolder like this, and I already installed it. I've already installed. So if I do node scaffold, then it will ask me 3 questions, pretty much like npm init. And then I can choose JavaScript, Babel, and linter none. So when I say this, you see my package.json file changed. He adds some stuff for me. You see this? This and this. He adds some stuff for me. So now I can do npm install. And after that, I can do npm start. He already created some folders and some stuff for me, you see? Now if I do npm start, it will use Babel and will compile it in a dist folder with source map as well, okay? So the node scaffolders allow you to scaffold the src folder and write the scripts necessary to compile your source folder into a dist folder. Does it make more sense now?
No.
Yeah?
now running the install.
Does make more sense,
That's why
right?
I have running the install. It's not
Okay.
here.
So now you install that, then you do just one scaffold. Yeah. It's a global tool, like webpack, right? Yeah.
It's why, because in fact, it's only you define it. You need to have payload to do all the stuff.
Okay.
Not the whole.
JavaScript.
So now they told, okay, in order to make our run, you have to run the install.
No,
So
just
install
one.
all the dependencies that you need to work with.
Okay, you see that changes some stuff here. And then it's done. You all set, try to run anything.
And now it's installed.
And then install the loaders.
And you should always have your project folders here on console.
On Linux and Mac, you turn sudo in front of the
So you're
global
gonna-
packages.
you work here with
Allow
the
it
project.
to write in the.
And go here and install this side.
Now it's installing the packages for.
And now after that,
Dash without. Yes, dash.
Yeah, if you don't get run, it will npm start, it will
Yeah, but it's always better to
you
do
will
it
run
and
this.
then
If you see that
if you got no access or
and
not
every
allowed
time
something, then
before start, you will
No,
run
no.
this npm run.
in this program.
So now we're just installing them.
so the NPM dash is not yeah. So you
You
just
have to close off the whole. Yes. In this case, you have to be inside.
so there's a symbol in front of it. And now it is going to do class.
it's not, yeah.
Okay, so look at this now. This is just how another view. So it's an old thing. Okay.
Install is global.
There you go.
And
So you have to view the folders, even though you work here with command, but you have no here, so you just confirm the work progress. At least that's how I can spot this. It's much easier. You see it's a much better view. You see a folder
Yeah,
now.
There's no npm.
This kind of reads as like
Not for like this.
Yeah, it says, so hey, I can find a package of JSON file. Did you run npm in it? Did you run npm in it?
No, I already have it.
Ah, okay, you already have
So I'm just
There.
dig out some problems.
You need to install with a -G.
either is fine, but if you want to be explaining linking now, so just go with
So I don't have.
Oh, but you need as a global package.
Yeah, there's a
No
PO
other
that's
way.
go up to my conversation.
So now do npm install.
You can, do you install like,
With the same
npm install.
then you can do this,
That's too much.
So right there.
do you have node modules? So you can do,
I don't know.
how do you do the underscore?
You have everything?
It's setting
Yeah.
You wanna change keyboard to, maybe you wanna, because this is like an, this is an English keyboard.
No, it's not quite.
Okay. What's, okay. No,
You can do command space also on Windows to change language.
It's a Linux.
Okay, no, just.
Then it's a separate keyboard. I can try change his keyboard.
Okay, because I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not good with Linux.
It's a lot of fun. I hope you. Yeah. So, now you have international keyboard. So, you want Linux keyboard or international? The keyboard. You will be okay. So just remember this one. Then it's
Okay, so is everyone done with the node scaffolder and one question?
as oh yeah.
Yeah,
Can you please
I tried to install
Sure.
so just
once we have all
Yeah,
the
that's good.
safe
don't do save.
Do npm start.
Do it without save.
You do
You
npm
don't
start,
want it
you
to
will
be
say
packages.
it works.
Yeah.
And you can still install it locally.
Yeah.
You just don't want it written into your package.
Okay.
Yeah. So just npm install.
Did you manage?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Did you try to do npm start?
Yeah, that's the
It is in the source file. You say npm start, then it will
Yes, it works. You see? Alright. Oh,
npm start.
Yeah, so it's already installed.
but looks like everyone is on board.
She's getting some error.
Try to go.
Yeah, I think just what you can do as a hack in this case is that you go into your packages and you go into scripts. Yeah, so you just call it.
Oh, you need to install the bubble.
Then you can use local install thing.
You need to install bubble.
So, this here.
If you npm install, it does like this. You put it as dependency, so you just, the scaffolder, right?
Yeah, did you run npm install?
Yeah, she done that, but why she missed?
No, you
I'm
need
not
to run
sure
npm
because
install.
I think it's also need to
You don't have a
use
package
another-
of JSON.
But
Yeah,
uh,
that one.
Then you do
Just npm install.
run,
And then you do npm start.
this npm install, it will install anything?
No, this npm install will install the dependency.
Dependency.
Now we can start. It works perfect. Okay, cool. So guys, after the node scaffolder, you need to do an npm install because the node scaffolder will add some dependency in your package.json file, and you need to install them, right? Does that make sense? So you need that npm install, and then if you do npm start, everything should work. It will build and then start your index.js file in this folder. Okay. That was easy. Okay, so now we carry on, and we need to install Express. And you can do it you need to do with --save, so we'll save also in the package.json file.
Yeah, so it's local to your project.
Yeah, this will be this is a local package.
But on the table, you just have to do npm run if you want to create this file, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Folder.
npm start.
npm start. So just do npm start. Yeah, so it builds the whole thing. Yeah. If you open it,
So after you install Express, you should be able to go in your src folder and copy and paste the code. Copy and paste the code from the slides, like that. And instead of require, we can actually use import. So instead of this line, we can do that. So after you install Express and you copy the code from this slide, the 6-line Express web server example, if you do npm start, think this is like that.
Just import without any stuff. Just import express from express. I think that.
Oh, like that.
Yeah, let's try that.
Yes, you're right.
The start as it's Python one.
I think start.
No, it's a
Yeah,
TypeScript. It's a TypeScript.
Okay.
Okay, so import express from express, and then you do npm star, and npm star is configured, so will always compile before run. So you are always transpiling because you are writing in the CRC folder, in the source folder. You see this file is this file, which is in this folder. This is really, really important, guys, because it makes a lot of confusion. But if you see the package.json file, the npm start here runs the index.js that inside the dist folder. Guys, you need to see the screen. The start runs the file that is inside the dist folder, not the file that is inside the src folder, the dist folder. And every time you do start, the pre-start will run, and we do this npm run build, which is just the bubble command to transpiling from source to dist with source maps. Guys, this is super important because I know that you will start to type in this at some point. I know that for sure that you will, like a good 1/3 of you will start to type in this index.js file. This is not your source file. This folder is like doesn't exist for you. You write in here, and the tool will transpile in this. This is a automatically generated folder and files. This makes sense.
We did that last time with the Babel. That's what
Yeah.
Babel does, right?
Yeah.
We write the latest version of JavaScript in the source, and then Babel transpiles that to the more open, old version of JavaScript that can be run everywhere, right? In the distributed folder, right? So
this is
no
simple.
touch on this.
Yeah. So write in here. Write in this file, index.js in the source folder. Okay. This is common when you start to do Command T in Visual Studio Code, and then you search for a file. If you search for a file, the Visual Studio Code will also search in the dist folder, and sometimes will suggest you to do that, and then you fall in the trap. Remember to check that index.js is in the source folder.
Okay.
You need to write in this one. So if you copy the example and do npm start, is everyone seeing this? Example at listing on port 3000. Then if I go to my browser, I should be able to see hello world here. Get bigger. Can you make it? Perfect. Good.
Should I go inside the SRC?
Yes,
To
yes.
install it, to start, to ambient?
No, it's
Yeah,
like
it should be
it's
not-
just
not
like
there,
import
it's just you're
express
gonna make
into
project
Kubernetes.
because the
I
package
use
is only
it
there.
mistakes,
Yeah, that's fine.
It's okay.
Express from
XLS.
And then express.
Just paste it in, scroll up.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Without
Okay.
any-
Run npm start.
It's optional.
And why here I have to-
npm start. Yes. If you go on localhost 3000,
Okay. You didn't import it, that's why. You have to import it. So you import Express from Express. Use something. Yeah. You see, you're using on the latest version of JavaScript. Because before we use requires.
so you're good.
Yeah.
I'm using import Express. With Bubble, we can do this.
Import Express.
From
You do npm install express
Express, space.
dash save.
From
You can see the slides.
From quotation marks. Just like this. See? Import express from.
Okay, now you can install
Space.
Express and
Quotation mark. And always remember to add semicolons.
yeah, that's fine. Now you need to install Express. MPMI.
Yeah, it's not this is only
Yes,
good. Were you there in the last class? In the last week, last Sunday? You were in
no, NPM is install Express
Did you get it to work?
minus.
I don't really know it. I need to get to if I think it's
Yeah, don't really
yeah, it's Marie's boyfriend
Yeah, that's why
to set those
you
up.
don't do this.
So I need to ask.
Just a bit from.
I hope you get it
Yeah,
to work.
it's but it's like this. So instead of require, you use import, right? So import express from express.
Okay.
And then
That's actually so you can
Yeah.
NPM.
I choose.
it just replaces. Yeah, replaces.
Yeah, that's all right.
You don't run. You don't choose it.
Yeah. So if you go on the
Babel
slides.
allows you to use import instead of require. Babel is the latest version of JavaScript, and that's what we're doing here. We're using the latest version of JavaScript.
The slides on slides.
What Babel does is, okay, it takes this, it transpiles it from here to here, and then it runs this, not this.
If you go weak,
We don't touch it, we just play with this, because Babel is supposed to
do something extremely serious with this computer.
import express. Okay, now it should be.
if you go like all week,
You could just like installing the Node is quite easy.
Yeah, this is a with this.
Yeah.
He didn't bring a laptop.
But if you just reinstall Node,
yes.
Ah,
So you, yeah, just give it.
I'm going to ask permission first for.
it's awesome, but then it goes
Now instead of the
But
new
you
prompts,
lose everything you can have
you
on this.
do
Install express.
just
So in the
instead of the
project here,
right?
if you go and see back on the song,
Ah, you did not want
Right?
dependency.
Can you switch to my?
Yeah, you don't have to express. You have to install
Visual
express
Studio?
Yeah.
with NPM installed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So you guys, you need, when you copy, you need to go from this line
express.
to this line. This is old way. This is new way.
Just save.
That's the only things we change from the
No,
code
I will.
of the slides because
Why do
we
we
want
do
to use
No,
get
okay,
6.
so install
So we
the
don't do
express,
require, but we
the-
do import.
This server thing we do here, right?
All the rest
So
is the
now
same.
easy
Yeah?
to
Make
do.
it, so allow me to.
Requires
Make the server, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's not saved basically,
Yeah.
it saves the
Yeah.
whole project.
just
So it's not saved globally. We did that last time, remember?
because definitely the export syntax is much nicer than the
Dash,
module exports.
it's not a command, dash.
Also, import and export already
There's
work
a dash.
in most browsers.
There's a dash G.
So you can
Not the
configure,
parents, just
There's
look at
some JS put it into HTML file, like link it and it would probably work, unless you're of course using something like FS or whatever, which is only Node.
Yes. If you save it,
But now we are does not
Here,
include
here, here, it depends, not that depends, but that depends.
No,
server
So
side.
wait, what
The
is
server side does not include FS. FS like reading the index HTML.
Yeah,
You can use directly.
no,
So now
So
you
it's,
can run command again.
so if you
to
go
see the
locally,
files,
it's like
have
In
express.
case of
module exports does not work in the browser.
Dash dash save,
That was something to do with
making sure that this is how the local
Right.
project, and it adds
So it can work
dependency
eventually
here,
everywhere.
you know, so
It's better to write
you can
code
run
already in
so
this
now
syntax.
if you run them,
Okay,
you can
perfect.
run to future tokens and to inspire.
Okay, guys, we have good half an hour now.
No,
There you go. Because the local host 3000 in the browser. Browser.
Okay. Gonna remove this line
Local
here.
host 3000. Just write local host. Yeah, okay, literally.
So this is Express, and probably you already seen a little bit last time, okay?
And the way it works, that has this like callback style methods. We can call. So you have app.get for this is the verb. This will be the URL. And when this verb and this URL match, then this function will run. So it means that when I go here and I have remember that the browser always does a get. So this is a get localhost 3000. You can actually check in the network panel that is a get. Okay, so request method get of this. This will match this. Okay, and this hello world will be returned. Now, if I create a new route by copying and paste, guys, you need to see my screen, otherwise you are lost. If I do another route, let's say about. This is about me. I need to stop and start again my server because I need to rebuild it. This is important.
How to stop?
You stop with Control C. So if you see, this is a hello world, but if I go on a route about, I get this about me, which would be this. Yes.
You went to the network tab and then how to find.
So if you open the network tab and you do all, you can see all the requests fired by the browser.
If I see all,
But this is not important. Just want to show you that.
But refresh the page now because it doesn't.
You need to refresh the page.
Before
Yeah.
you open the tab.
Is that okay? That's excellent. So what I would like to do now as a tiny exercise for like 10-15 minutes is to create a route and create an extra route like I did. Is you choose everything, do whatever. Okay. And then obviously try to go in the browser and check that if that route works. So 10 minutes till 35, and then we move forward.
it's like an ordinary website. We have about homepage and all.
Yeah. That's what I'm going. And now we stop here and we build the REST API thing without integrate any contact list, but we still write all the routes. I'll show you. I have my path to. Okay. It's all okay? Yeah. Okay. So let's make another route. Just for
Everyone
fun.
done with this part?
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. That's excellent. So just want to make another route. We call it the test, and I want to send a JSON file. So I just want to show you name. Oops. Okay. So now instead of sending a string on the route test, I'm sending a JSON object. You see? This is the difference between those two. This is test and sending a JSON object. So I save. I need to stop and start again my server 3000. I reload. About is still working. I go test and I get name Mark. Okay. If I go here and I go preview, you see the preview will show me that this is a JSON object. So did you see what happened here? I want to show you. Guys, you need to see my screen, and I'll tell you when to code. I'll give you always 5-10 minutes after I code to code afterwards. You see, when I send a JSON part, you have a content type application JSON. That's automatic. It's recognizing that you are sending a JSON. It will set a header for you. That makes yeah. Okay.
You can also see that the formatting of the response is a little bit in Unicode font, so it looks different from when we had HTML.
Yeah.
Because
So
the
if I do
browser is
this,
trying to present
so
it as code.
if I go here and I go in a header and I go response, I get text HTML. So by default, Express is sending, say, well, this is a text and this is HTML, and the browser will do, okay, well, I interpret it as HTML, try to render as HTML. Cool. But when I send the JSON bit and I go here, well, it's not anymore text HTML, it's application JSON. So, okay, the browser say, well, this is not text HTML, this is a JSON. All right. So the API, the REST API web server that we are building, we are gonna send and receive JSON. We use that as that's like a common, quite common thing. Usually it's JSON or XML. Okay, cool. I'll give you 5 minutes to test this out, and then we move forward.
Do you also have watch running through the need to download?
Okay, so should I make this first?
Just make another one first. Put up this one. Into the scripts, some packages. And looking very much. Then watch. Oh, watch.
Watch.
Do you start it? Or do you start with the second? then you go to the second one. Because the thing is like, password didn't run, so your disk file didn't, change. So that's why that route never showed up in your server. And then you go to the second one and then it went to
Oh, I have to go to the file.
no.
To this file. Because I'm not using
Okay, yeah.
Okay, then.
Stop. And then we can go into the browser now.
Yeah.
But now if I add something,
Now the watch will keep on.
Yeah.
the watch will
Yeah. So, Roy just remind me that if you are tired to stop and start the server, you can do npm run watch, and this will automatically watch your source file, and if they change, Bubble will compile it for you automatically. But that means that you need to have
Another term. You can use the plus in VS Code.
yeah, also here you can split.
Oh yeah.
And you need to like every time you could recompile automatically, you need to anyway to stop and start the server, and you do by just npm start. It will compile anyway.
Yeah, this is not also.
No, because you should also stop it and start the server. So yeah, it's not really. That's really not convenient actually to run the continuous thing. Anyway, you need to stop and start because you need to both recompile and restart the server. Okay. Okay, everyone is okay with the JSON the JSON blob. Yeah. Cool. That's nice. Okay, so now I take all those three things that I wrote and I delete them. Actually, I keep only one. And we can start. So if we have, if we go back to this and we take the REST API approach, our resource was contacts, right? That's our contact. It's our resource. Because we want to make an HTTP REST API HTTP server for a contact list. Because we want to use that that class. Yeah. All right. So if I go here, I need to have a get contacts. I will go in plural. Then I will have a get contacts, that will be contact ID. Then I need to have a a patch. So app.patch. What is the patch? What is the URL of the patch? Contacts. Right? I'm going to use fat arrows from now on. So I will also change this. Cool. Then I add post. And post only needs this, doesn't take the ID, and then we have delete. And this takes. Does delete take an ID or not?
Yes, ID. Why does it need an ID?
Otherwise, it will be
particular.
Yes. Okay, so I will format a little bit. Okay, cool. cool. So now we run into a problem. How do we fire a patch, post, and delete with the browser? That's not possible. Or at least it's possible, but we need to write some JavaScript, right? It's a bit inconvenient. So
Time to introduce Postman.
yes. So now we use we use Postman. Postman is like a tool that allows you to also fire post, patch, delete, and the good things that you can also save. You can also like save some requests. So for testing and developing is the best, because you can save like a set of requests, and then you can just push play, and then it will fire it for you. So
Postman is just a tool for developers to test the servers.
yeah.
The server endpoints. Post, delete, everything. Instead of you writing JavaScript script to actually test it, it's just a tool just for that to actually test the endpoint.
I'm gonna stop and restart the server, and I'll switch to Postman, and I create a basic request. I know that you don't have it installed yet, and I call this test post. Okay, and here I could add a description, and here I could actually create even a collection. So you can have like a set of like a collection with all the requests in one big folder, right? But that would be not my case. Okay. Postman. Postman is a tool that allows you to make any kind of request, not only get, but also like post and patch, right? Because now we run into a problem. How do we test those those delete, post, and patch? How do we do that? We cannot do with the browser.
Because the browser only has get in the URL there, right?
So that's why we need Postman. Postman allows you to also make a post and a patch other HTTP verbs. Okay, cool. So if I go here now, I can say contacts. And I want to do a post. Contact, did I spell that correct? Oh, yes. Well, every time we fire a request, well, we need a response. Otherwise, the server will hang. It's like I'm asking you something, and instead of answering me, you're just looking at me, right? No, that doesn't make sense. You want to fire a request with Postman, and you want to return a response. And how you return a response is this rest.send. So I'm going to write here rest.send. This is a check for post. Now I'm just returning a string back. So if I hit post contacts, it will send me this back.
Don't you have to put the request and response in the other function parameters?
Yes, and I need to do that too. Yep. Okay, cool. So I stop and start that again. So if I fire this again, perfect, it works. So now I can also do a post. If I do a get on this one, so if I do, so this, there's a column, you see the column here. That means that this is gonna be a variable. This will change. This could be, in my case, it would be a number. We are gonna use a number as ID. But it could be any number. So this will catch anything with contacts and then something after contacts. In fact, if I do get contacts and then I put like a number, let's say 1, 2, 3, I do a send, I get this hello world and this one.
And how do we access that contact ID?
Perfect. That's exactly the question I want to.
So you can make a new fast statement. Instead of contact is 1, then return that. Contact is 2, ID is return that. Where actually, if you call the contact class, with an ID, then you give that ID to the method of the class to return that.
No, I think it was asking this.
Oh, okay. Was that what you were asking?
So you were asking how we access that one, yeah.
Yeah, the actual number. That
Yeah.
It's
So-
a request, right?
Yeah. So if you do that, oops, I think I misspelled something.
Yeah, because when you make a request, you send information to the server. Okay.
Yes.
I want the contact, but then I give you this variable ID that I want the contact to return it. Right? So it's in the request header.
My bad. I put a comma, but it should have been a plus. You see? Hello world 1, 2, 3. If I do hello world 132, it would be 132. If I do 999, 9 will be 9999. If I do hello again, it will be hello again. So this is taking anything that is coming after, and you can use it again here, right? Okay, and then we can check this too. So if I send just contact, is this a get on contacts? I should get hello world. Yes. Okay. Let's check for patch. And I can do the same things as here. Cool. Remember to always stop and start the server. So I can check patch now. Contacts 432. Perfect. This is a check for patch 432. So I know that I've wired them all correctly. Yeah. And we check the post. Now we can also check the delete. To be the same as this. We can check the delete here. Remember to stop and start the server. I go here and I check the delete. So delete, contacts, and then the ID. You see? Delete, contacts, ID. Delete, contacts, ID. To send. This is a check for delete, 432. Excellent. Okay, I wanted you write all the endpoints like I did. With the function that returns something, like you need to do rest.send. If you don't do that, the client that fired the request, it will hang there and wait for your response. So you need to remember to have that this rest.send inside this function. And I wanted you do forget contacts, ID, patch, post, and delete.
You need to install Postman.
And you need to install Postman as well and do like a couple of checks like I did. And you have like 15-20 minutes for this. Then we go to have some food. Because it's the same thing you did before, but now instead of use only get, you use also post and patch and other things.
Yeah.
Why you put this?
It's a variable.
And also,
Let's say you want to contact with that specific ID.
No, it's
that
a-
name.
Look in
Yeah,
Slack.
but you can put
There's a
anything
link.
or just get it from the backend.
You can put it. So, call
But I think you can install either as a,
well, depending on your
extension
resource that you have. That you
or
can
it's a
provide,
standalone.
usually.
Okay.
But they could be a number,
From
words, name, whatever. Right.
As simple as using the oldest extension that they have, which they have the blue earth logo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so who finishes first, you can go to eat. You don't get out of the room till you finish. So I bet you must be hungry by now. Do this one. Don't cheat if you don't.
this really made life so much better because before that you would have needed to use curl or WP.
The other way of doing this would be car.
Hmm?
Use the command line.
Yeah, curl WP. Just imagine.
No, that would be 400 million mistypes. And also a bit annoying that you cannot save it. Like this is actually complicated. You cannot save sets.
Yeah,
collection.
collection.
Yeah. It's easier. Also me it's easier.
The simplest, most useful tool.
Yeah.
Which developers use, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, made a whole company out of this. But it lets you do pretty sophisticated stuff with the server now. A lot of people are now working with like stripping headers.
Okay. Why? Because we'll save them.
Because I don't know, like most package frameworks give you, like powered by Express, powered by.
Yeah, sure.
And from a security point of view, that's bad. How to do it.
Yeah, because given useful information.
Yeah, and especially with like Python packets, which don't get updated so quickly. Yeah, it's not great. I've been reading about that, and Postman is good for like profiling requests and all that.
Sure, that's like a good hint for like an attack, right? Because if I know you're
Especially if you find one exotic one, then you can be sure that it has at least not updated for months.
Yeah, it's good fun, true. You were on vacation or?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
What game did you go and see in Russia?
was in Spain, Iran, and Poland, Colombia.
Nice. Oh, Poland cried so much. As soon as Poland got the ball, everybody, "Woo." You were there in the damn.
But
Poor guys.
there was still like it wasn't like 100% Colombian fans, but for the Spain Iran one, it was nearly 100% Iranian fans. It was intense. You can clearly see like from which country the matches were. It was a good match. It was swimmingly expected. It was like engaging for even for the Colombian one was divided.
I'm wondering if I have this
Just write localhost. Just copy it from the browser so it's easy for you. Just go there right away.
The annoying thing is not just ID.
Request.
Otherwise, first you have to choose what kind of request you want to make.
It's keep.
Yeah, okay. Then you enter the URL. Right, this is not that, just just keep it on header.
And then?
Yeah, that's right.
So you should have like
Click
5
here.
endpoints, right?
Go down to
Contacts,
get.
get contacts for all contacts. Get
Just create
contact,
something.
single one.
Look at the-
And then patch, edit one contact,
The same thing you enter
put
into
one contact, delete.
2000 and then get as a starter.
Yeah.
Hey, it works, right?
No, you don't need to
Change to
But put a space after get so
If you want to do
like
it,
contacts.
No,
I would say
And ID want to
do
do.
it later
But then
because
I have to run this.
you can keep the
So play doll.
The good thing is actually making collections.
So now for example,
what you have to do is
if I compare
the type of request
with the,
and the
if I compare with the HTTP server that we built ourselves, obviously this is really nice, right? To have a column in a string and be able to access through the params. That's like that's for example a good help for you, so you don't have to fiddle and try to extract ID from the with I don't know regex or other way. So this is like
super quick and stable. Are you done?
You forgot to do slow down.
That's right. Sorry. The links.
Yeah, you need to
Did you
do
try
that
different
different. That's how
like,
we run
posts
the
or something?
application.
Yeah.
We run it on the 40,000, right? Yeah, that's
The
pretty
content.
Ah, yeah.
Like this is a batch request.
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
Give us that.
Start.
Yours.
So,
No, just creating these.
Okay, we're done. Let's go have this lunch. The ones who didn't, stay here.
Are you done?
Not
No.
yet.
No, yeah.
You have to check all of this posts.
Sit one by one.
All of them. After you've done two, you realize it's quite easy.
I mean, obviously, I could copy my code and pass on Slack, and but
It's about
even writing actually helps to
Exactly.
like remember and you need.
you always have to write
I
down.
still
stuff.
have.
How to use this?
You still have a problem? What's your problem?
You don't need to say it.
Not salt.
For
It's
example,
post.
now I have written this.
Oh my god.
And you keep it all.
Yeah,
in,
exactly.
So you keep it get still, get the
So
ID.
kind of request, then
Patch,
you enter the
goals,
goals, so you want to do again.
But I
then
have to run them. Each
Yeah,
one
get
of them.
yes.
No, you write them all and then you run the server. So you just make the request. And then you
Not
run.
compact.
Look at
You have to have all the HTTP verbs, right? Get, patch, post, and delete. All four of them. There you go. Just come in and
It's plural.
get this file.
Probably you wrote something else.
And then make sure you write it down yourself so it's penalized.
Is your server running?
Is this
Yeah, I have to.
or you need to like it's better that you do npm stuff because the
Don't
watch
actually
will not restart the server.
Write the line of codes, call the server, and stuff. Just write them all
Yeah.
and update the server and then just do the postman. Just try the ones. That's it. You don't have to do it every time.
So this
It's
is
not just wasting time.
Go to the
so
console.
now if you
You write all the verbs, write all the endpoints, save the server,
you don't
refresh, and
need
then just go to postman and try them all.
just need this.
Get
Guys, the column, maybe I wasn't clear. This column here, it's only for express to understand that that is a variable.
Yeah.
So that won't be in your, your URL in Postman. The column, it's only for say that that's a variable. Yeah. So you don't need to, there will be no column in your.
Yeah, so when you do the postman, you just write the resource and then slash the variable.
Yeah, it's giving an error. You are trying to recontact ID once it's not REST, but it's a request. Is it here? Because it's the request.
Yes, that's better.
It's not the response, right? Yeah. Is the params are attached to the request.
Oh, is it just I am?
Yeah. The you send. Yeah. The response REST is the what you send back. But you read the params from the request. So yeah. Remember to stop and start the server.
particular contact that will come.
On the Slack during the week, I will write a tiny line out to actually can. When you restart when you recompile, you can also restart your server. But
As soon as you save the file, it's automatically restarted and compiled.
yeah, we'll restart the
No,
server,
no.
compile it, but it won't restart the server.
Ah.
But you can use Watchman from Facebook to do that.
And more one.
I'm not wrong.
Yeah, but
Is it better?
what
Yes.
was that? No, I also use
Patch complete. Yeah.
I think Watchman has. Like I think in Watchman you can even combine the two. There's node one is node one is.
But you need an ID, right?
Just paste any arbitrary command.
It's
from other.
so post is fine. But if you do patch,
What was the command?
do patch here.
To see the changes by itself and not like NPM style.
Delete, I have to
Delete, you need an ID as well.
If I did a file, then I have to
To change the file where tiny bit of the
Save it and then
object.
It's not a server.
Take it again.
Do you want
Create
all the
a
endpoints there, right? Save the file, run the server, and just come here and test the endpoints. That's it.
You were not here when I explained that, but there is the table.
Because I tested that table and it doesn't because in the slide it's from the server.
Oh yeah, that's not from now. Nice tool.
You're done as well, right?
Yes.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Who's ready? Let's go.
Yeah, I think we're okay.
Okay.
So, 1, 2, 3,
Just this first, let's maybe get there.
yeah.
Get I export.
Okay, great. And then
Okay, we can go to food now, and then
slash contact.
we carry on now. The next part will be to take a contact list and
No, do that column.
Put it in
For
here.
the inside code.
Okay.
Well, it's not. That's not correct. Right? Your code, let's say, it's on contacts. Right? Yeah, it's fine.
Then I have to run it again?
No.
Just, oh, okay.
That's what I guess.
Don't do all of them and then
Yeah.
Just
That's
page
right.
6. Let's speak about it.
But
And
then,
what you do is create the server, right? You added all the endpoints and then you saved it and make the server run it, right? And that's it. The server is already listening to all these commands. It's waiting. It knows about these commands, right? So with
Okay.
Postman, you just go and actually test those commands. You don't need to have to stop and just start the server. That's it.
I left my
Postman is just for Postman is like a kind of
Yes.
alternative version of the browser
yeah.
that allows you to check these endpoints, right? That's it. You have a server run there 24/7, and then here you just call it test.
I know I can't put anything here.
Well, you here just test the endpoints, so you just delete whatever. That's your contact, delete,
3000.
yeah, whatever.
See, you also need this.
Hey,
Yeah, okay.
See you next time when you're done. No, she's done. They're going for lunch again. Let's go. Just before that, slash contact. Instead of test. You will get the message. Oh, I love it. Oh my god.
It's like one of the other ones, like yeah, let's try the pattern. So go back there. No, you don't copy that. Just change it to patch. No, it's
This one.
yeah.
So each time we are calling the method, we have to change it from there, right?
Yep.
And then
Then you'll get a history, so you can then just switch between. So contact slash. Yeah, it doesn't exist.
yeah, she has to start somewhere.
No,
If she change,
it's still there, just go ahead. Slash. Okay. And then ID. Something.
anything,
Like
1, 2, 3 or just send batch ID 1.
so that's a variable which you're getting from. So that's what the just so
Yes.
just say that is also you just remove the ID. Just this. Good. same thing. It's different work. So, just go back to your code. Yeah. So you add the ID as well.
need to actually stop the recording here.